Okay, for those of you that missed the Zoom presentation or need a review on how to set up Piktochart so that you can do the Piktochart presentation for your animal topic, here it is. Just remember that you need to log into Piktochart. Should be very easy. If you've already logged in, it should save your information, or if you logged in using a Google account, it's really pretty easy. But if you have never used Piktochart, or you have to create a new account because you can't remember the old password, then do so. I would recommend you use a Google login, such as your Gmail account, username and password. It makes things a lot easier later when you go to log in. The next thing I want you to pay attention to is on your OneNote page. This will be assignment number 10 that I have listed in OneNote. You need to pay attention to the directions. I mean, they're pretty straightforward as to what you're going to do. On Piktochart, we're going to be doing a presentation, not a poster. So if you do a poster, I'll just simply send it back to you and say, now you have to do the presentation and you have to follow the instructions. So it's better to do it right the first time. One of the big things I get irritated with, and I will send things back to you on, is on the OneNote page, you actually need to type in the name of the animal that you're doing the project on. And it's not the, don't tell me you're doing it on a mammal or a reptile. You need to be specific. It's going to be the African elephant, or it's going to be the American crocodile. Something of that nature. Make sure that you're giving me that name. And then I encourage you to read through these instructions, especially for the minimum requirements that you have to have here on the presentation, because that's how I grade it. And so if you miss something, you don't do something, then you're going to lose points. And on this one, I probably won't. I probably will just grade it as is and say that's the grade you get, instead of sending it back to you multiple times for you to fix. So you probably want to do it right the first time. So when you get into Piktochart, again, as I said, you're going to use the presentation mode, which is selecting over here. You're not doing a poster. We're going to do a presentation, and as always, we're going to select the blank presentation. What that will give you is a screen that looks like this, with what Piktochart, of course, calls blocks. And the next thing I need you to do is up here in the where it says Untitled Presentation, I need you to put your name and what the name of your animal is. So for me, example, it would be Mr. Whitaker, mountain gorilla. And then make sure you click the Save button up here in the corner so that it saves and you can easily get it. Now, if you get an error that says you have too many saved Piktochart already, then you may have to go back onto your dashboard and delete off old ones you don't need anymore. Unless you want to buy the Pro version, which is pretty pricey, that gives you unlimited saves. I wouldn't do it. I would just go delete ones that I don't need, and so you have enough to work on the current project. One of the requirements in the instructions is that you have to have 3 blocks. I'm going to allow you to use 10. And what a block is like a slide in a PowerPoint. To make more blocks, you find that little plus sign in the corner. You just click on it, it adds, hence plus, the number of blocks below. So they just start going down the page. One of the things that I always find on these Piktochart is you guys have trouble remembering how to put a picture on, and if you look at the instructions, you have to have at least 5 or more pictures of your animal and different things. So the way you do this is first you go onto the internet, you find a picture. So do a Google image search of whatever you're looking for, the mountain gorilla, African elephant, crocodile, whatever. And then just do a normal save picture as, and I would put it into my picture folder, and create a new folder that deals with your animal, because it'll be easier later on to file. Now the thing with Piktochart, you have to upload the picture into the Piktochart program, if you remember. So you go to Uploads here, and then what you have to do is you browse for the Piktochart image, and that'll open up a screen that you can get onto your device, and then you go to your picture folder in the subfolder that you've made, and you find that image and you just click on it, and then it should upload. Okay, and when it uploads, then it shows down here in the Piktochart gallery, so that all you have to do then is like click on this picture, and it will then pop it in onto the block over here. And then you can resize it, move it, wherever you need to do with that picture, etc. But again, the key thing here is with Piktochart, you have to take a saved picture that you've saved on your device. I would make sure it's in my picture folder on the computer versus in OneDrive, because sometimes it's hard to get to in OneDrive, and then upload it onto Piktochart. That should be we've done this before, so hopefully that's just a reminder. The new thing on this project, this is the reason we're doing a presentation, is you actually have to provide a YouTube video. And you can actually embed a YouTube video onto your presentation, and it will play when I view it as the presentation. And to do that, it's a little tricky in Piktochart. First, you're going to go to the Tools menu. And when you open up Tools, you'll see that it has a video button. Just simply click on it. When it opens, it gives you a place that you can put in the YouTube video link. So what you will do is you'll go to YouTube and you will find an informational video about your topic, one that you like and one that you would want to share with me. Now, there's a trick to get the right link from YouTube. So when you open up a YouTube, and I'm going to use the mountain gorilla. So here's a video I found of a guy that's encountering mountain gorillas. He's a tourist, and the gorillas came up to him, and I thought it was a cool video, and I want to put it into my presentation. So what I'm going to do is I need to get the correct video link. It's not just go up to the address bar and copy and paste that. It doesn't tend to work all the time. What you want to do is in YouTube, you'll see under the video this link that says share. And when you click on it, it'll open up this page right here that you can simply click the copy. That automatically copies the right link that you can then paste back onto that Piktochart video URL field. If you don't use if you go up and copy the URL from the browser in, say, Chrome, it doesn't always work. This always works. This is the best way to do it, is always go to share on YouTube and then just copy that link that shows up. That's the easy way that you want to do that. And then now, after you have completed your presentation on however many blocks you want to do, you have to turn it in to me. And this one's a little tricky. Once you have finished, what you want to do is you want to make sure you save it. Make sure it's always saved. Okay, and then you're going to share this presentation with me. It's not download and copy and paste a picture like we did with posters. This one you actually got to share it to me, because I have to be able to open up this shared link and play it on my computer in order for me to grade it. So what you will do is once you're finished and you've saved it, there's a link up here that says share. You click on it and it's going to open this window. And here's the important thing. You'll see this little toggle that says make this a public link. That's usually turned off. You need to turn it on. If it's not public, I can't see it. So you'll get a message back that says I can't see this, and you need to go back and share it as a public link. So just do that first, and then you'll see that it gives you a link right here, and all you got to do is click this copy button and email me that link. So you'll open it up an email, address it to me. Remember, my email is twhitaker@nsd131.org, and you'll just then paste that link in there and give the title. Your subject in the email should say my animal, the presentation, and then go send it to me. Then go into Summit, select the feedback so I know I'm getting something from you in email, and it's a good idea to also go on to remind and say I just emailed you the shared link that is public, make sure it's public, for my presentation, and then I will grade it and go from there with that, and then you'll see what grade you get on that. So the critical thing is when you share, it has to be a public link, or I will not be able to see it. And then, we have all this issue. I have to send it back to you, and then you got to figure out what to do, because my instructions will be, please watch the video again. Okay? The last thing that I like to talk about is before you turn it in, double check that you have met all of the requirements that I have listed here. Okay, so you literally go through this as a checklist. Do I have at least 3 blocks? Okay, or you can use more. Remember, limit it to less than 10. Do I have the correct scientific name? Do I have on the planet where this animal is found in something called a distribution map? Do I know from my research what kind of foods do they eat? Do they have predators? What other things do I want to tell Mr. Whitaker that I found to be interesting? Do I have a YouTube video of that critter? Do I have at least 5 pictures of the animal on my presentation somewhere? And here's another big thing. I need to know the sources that you used. So the very last block or slide is going to be a source slide. And that you need to have a link, since we're pretty much on the internet, of where you got that information. So where did you get this scientific name? Where did you find this distribution map? Where did you find the information that talks about the food that these critters eat, or what predators they may have that affect them, or if they are a predator, what prey do they eat, etc., etc. So I'm looking big time here. It sounds like my garbage is here. I need to know where you are getting these things, and also include in your source the link to the YouTube video, because that's a source. Then when you're finished, again, as I instructed, you will email me that shared public link, and we'll go from there. Now, there are some questions that generally I have found that students have with this assignment. And one of them is, Mr. Whitaker, what do you mean by distribution map? Well, what a distribution map is, it's a map that it has somehow color-coded to show where the animal is. So my example that I'm using is the mountain gorilla. It's one of my more interesting animals that I like, one of my favorites. And they are located only in a very, very specific area of Central Africa. Other gorillas are found elsewhere, but mountain gorillas are only found in the high mountains of the Congo and the Rwandan and Ugandan volcanic ranges. If you've ever seen the movie Gorillas in the Mist, you'll know what I'm talking about. So what I did, it was really simple. I just simply Googled the name of my critter, mountain gorilla, and the word distribution map, and then I checked the images, and this is the one that I chose. There was probably about 150 of them. So you pick the one you like. And then you will save that as an image, and then later you'll add it to your presentation. So that's usually a question I always get, so I'm answering it now, hopefully. And the next one I always get is, what do you mean by the scientific name? What I'm talking about is the genus and species name. And genus and species is always 2 words, sometimes 3. So when I Googled the mountain gorilla, this is one of the pages that I found right here. And you'll notice that it right off the top, it says its scientific name is Gorilla beringii because it's a subspecies of the other gorillas. It's related to all the other gorillas, the lowland gorillas, but these guys are a subspecies because they're only found in a limited range in Central Africa. So that's what I'm talking about when I say scientific name, that you want to have this two-word genus and species, or three, depending upon the animal that you chose. So that would be what I need. And of course you need to spell it correctly and etc. And you need to tell me the source that you found it on. So hopefully this will help. If you missed our Zoom live presentation that I'm going to go through this afternoon, check your emails for the link and times. And in that when you get all of the research done and a topic selected, you can then move on to doing this Piktochart presentation to finish up this unit. Any questions? How do you get a hold of me? Well, you know the drill. Use Remind to send me a message, and we'll go from there. Thank you.